Welcome to the House Enterprise and House Enterprise athletes. We're joined with Gabe Deist. He is one of our new athletes on the platform. He is over at the Sacred Heart Club hockey team. He's a goalie, Connecticut local, stayed in the state, and he is someone that caught my eye many months ago when I was just scrolling through social media and his video popped up about how he is taken his love for the sport to the next level, not only at the college level, but hopefully to, move up into the ranks and really make a name for himself. But we got Gabe on the show. Welcome to the podcast video series, introductory press conference to your House Enterprise athlete's career. But Gabe, how is everything going? And thanks for stopping by.
I'm definitely honored to be here, but, thank you very much. Everything's going great. We gave ourselves a very good chance going into the end of the season here. And, I'm focused fully on school, fully on hockey, and just getting this all out. And I'm just honored to be here.
Yeah. So, we'll talk about the hockey in a little bit, but Sacred Heart, what are you studying? And, what made you choose that school outside of the athletics?
So actually, the funny thing is I chose here because I knew that they gave me the best chance to play hockey, but also on top of, the chance that I got to get my master's in only 1 year. So right now I'm on track on a 4+1 plan where I'm getting my bachelor's in history and I'm getting my master's in secondary education. So that way, in club hockey, we have 5 years of eligibility. So this way I get my 5 years, I get a master's degree in only 1 year. And no matter what happens, my future is set up in the best way possible.
Beautiful. Yeah. And, what drew you to history? Obviously, the master's program is great, but with that education component as well, was there anything specific that drew you to that? Or was that just something that, you had interest in and you just felt like this would be a great opportunity?
So I knew that I wanted to be a teacher by the end of my senior year. I had a lot of great teachers in high school that, really brought me happiness and really like showed me what it is to, be like a figure away from home or just someone that I can like talk to. And I wanted to be that kind of person. So I knew I wanted to go into secondary education, high school, middle school. And history is just something that I've always loved to do. And I was talking with a couple of teachers and they said, like, history teachers right now, although it's like a big field, most of it is on decline just because there's just not a lot of teachers that want to be there. So I thought if I can get into like a great school like Sacred Heart, if I can get my master's in only 1 year and I can do what I love while pursuing my education, I might as well.
Beautiful. And was there, specific history that you're drawn to? Is it, by region or by era, or are you just passionate about everything historical?
Oh man, we could have a whole podcast episode just about that. But
future content, we'll definitely run that out one day.
Perfect. Yeah, no, I just love I say before the Revolutionary War, and before the end of the Roman Empire, like when the Roman library was burned down, before all that was just, to me, is like very, very interesting just because all of that knowledge lost. And then we still have all these accounts of like what might have happened. And then going forward, 1900s from the Great Depression to World War II, that was really my thing because I had a lot of people that I knew personally that went through the Cold War, World War I, World War II. That was, someone in my family. And then I had people that served in the military during that time, and just hearing all those stories just made me so interested.
You're a special breed, Gabe. Not many people are, thoroughly fascinated with that stuff. So we wish you the best of luck and everything. And we will definitely dive into the history content one day. So, let's talk about why we're here and hockey and your role as a goalie. So you're from Trumbull. You started at a very young age, but when was that first time you picked up a stick and a puck, and what made you fall in love with the sport?
So I started when I was 3 years old, actually. I probably just turned 3, maybe like 3 months before I first put on a pair of skates. But I really fell in love with it when I think it was my first travel season is when I really fell in love because I was able to work in the position that I'm in now as a goalie, and I felt needed. I felt like just very passionate. I felt happy. It's a point where I realized like this is something that no matter what happens in the day, if I have a horrible day, if I get F's on every single one of my papers in one day, if I step on the ice, nothing else matters. My brain shuts off and I'm just happy.
Wow. I mean, that's, especially at a young age, discovering that and finding that as your happy point is, something that's really special. And was there anybody that, I guess, why did you choose the goalie position? And was there any team or player or something, an influence that made you want to be like, I'm the guy in the backstop. I'm going to be the goalie. I'm going to be, trying to lock this down on the ice. But, why the goalie position?
It started out when my doctor was like, "You're insane." I was like, "That's perfect. My coach will love to hear that." But seriously, my love for it came when in mites, we call it mites. You kind of switched around positions all the time, and I noticed that I always was the one that was playing goalie, and while everyone else was like when they got picked, they would try to hand it off to someone else or they would be disgusted about it and they just would not want to be in that goal. And we would lose like 20-0 or like 20-5. And then I would be like, okay, I'll just go in. And I realized like I don't want to sit on the bench half the game. I want to be out there all the time. And I'm having fun and being included all the time when I'm just in net and we're winning. Like we were winning probably like 5-2 or like 10. Like we'd be winning double digits when they only score like maybe one. So I knew that I was, good at it at that age and at that level. And then I started watching, that's when I started watching NHL and I started watching professional goalies. And that's when I started going to goalie coaches as well. My first ever goalie coach, Laura Brennan, now works for the Professional Women's League for New York, and she was the one that was really like you have attributes of these people, and those were like Jonathan Quick, Marc Andre Fleury, those kinds of elite goaltenders. She was like, you have these attributes, we just need to get them out of you, and that definitely gave me like just a confidence that like was indescribable. Like, okay, maybe I could do this. So she definitely helped me along. My coach Don during my squirt year, right after mites, he was absolutely amazing. He taught me that hockey isn't just about what's on the ice. It's about translating it to your real life. He was a combat veteran. He taught me to respect everyone no matter what. If I have a bad game and I absolutely hate the guy that I'm handshaking, I still give him a smile. I still tell him good game. I say, that was a great save at the other end. That was a great goal that you got on me. If I hate the refs, I'll still shake their hand. I'll look at them and I'll say thank you. National anthem, I'm silent. I stay till the end. I don't do anything else. He taught me that, respect is the way to go. And if you have respect for not only yourself, but for those around you, you're going to do great.
No, love that. And then for you in Connecticut, I mean, you're obviously from the southern Connecticut area. Where does your allegiance lie in the pro hockey sphere?
My teammates hate me for this because they're all from Long Island, Massachusetts, and some of them are from Connecticut. And my dad's gonna hate me when I say this too, but I am a diehard Penguins fan in Pittsburgh, and that
Nothing
that
wrong
might
with
be
that.
like, yeah, it might be a little surprising for some people, but Marc Andre Fleury was my favorite goalie. And when I started watching, and when I started like seriously watching like him and the Penguins, I started watching, I think, in like 2014 or so. And then maybe 1 or 2 years later, they won their back-to-back Stanley Cup. So I felt like it was just meant to be that I was supposed to be a fan of them.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, it's kind of surprising because you have the Bridgeport Sound Tigers that are now the Islanders, of course, that are right in your backyard. And although Connecticut, I don't consider New England, but Boston Bruins is probably your neck of the woods. But hey, the Penguins are a respectable team, and it's a respectable franchise. So at least you didn't say someone like the Coyotes or something random. So, I mean, when did you realize in your career that, and this, can date back obviously to when you're much younger, that you wanted to pursue this at the collegiate level?
I realized, in probably around, freshman year was when I really wanted to start taking it seriously, because that's when I stopped playing all other sports, which honestly I don't recommend to other people. Play other sports, get that athleticism, but in my situation, I felt that I needed to pick one sport or the other, and that was between lacrosse and hockey. And I said to myself, it has to be hockey, because in lacrosse, I was having fun, but I knew that I couldn't compete at the level that I needed to. And in hockey, that really brought me there. But besides the point, in freshman year, I worked hard over the years, and I got pulled away after the last tryout. And I was the last person to get pulled away. And my coach at the time, Coach Greg Maxey, said to me, I see a lot, and I wish you the best, but we're gonna cut you, and you can't be part of this organization right now. And that, like, after that tryout, I just thought back to all the years that I was like training, and I thought, like, I can't have this be for nothing. I can't. So I came back my sophomore year, and I wanted to try out, and I broke my leg before tryouts. And then came junior year, and I was, I was only able to get maybe one start, and I probably filled in maybe twice. So I didn't really have that chance, but I knew that I could really, start playing at a collegiate level if I tried hard enough. And senior year, I go on and I do great. I get all these accolades, and that's when I fully realized that I could play at that level. And I just have to track it all the way back to freshman year, and then going through until like after all the trials and tribulations that I went through, all the way until senior year. Just that whole time span really taught me that I can play at this level if I try hard enough.
No, 100%. And I mean, the adversity that you saw, you clearly overcame by the time you were a senior. Just looking at your stats and stuff, I think, one game you had like 44 saves in a playoff round. So it's like you've definitely have, showcased your ability. But what were some of those highlights for you that senior year before you made your way off to Sacred Heart?
Oh my God, it's got to be a little specific. The first two periods of my first ever start, I went in first period shutout, the first period shutout, the second period, and I thought that I was going to be on the shutout list the first day that I ever started. And the little low light, but one of the worst goals I've ever let in. He passed it. He shot it from the blue line. It got tipped by one of my guys. It was slow roller into me. I went to cover it, and it slipped right through my 5-hole, and that was my first ever starting goal, and that was brutal. And I think I let in 2 after that. and I got like a slap shot to the head, but that was definitely a highlight, showing me that it's no joke. I can't make mistakes. And then another highlight, you were talking about that 44 save performance. That was crazy. I mean, I posted a video on my Instagram after that, and I was actually bench pressing the goal, the net, and I remember I looked over at my coach and I was like, "You told me to do that if we won. You told me to. You can't even be mad." And he's laughing. I think that's like the first time I've seen him smile in like 4 years, and that was definitely a highlight. I got all these like texts after. I got like a post on our page about like I think I got nicknamed the one after that because my number was number one at the time, and that was definitely a highlight. We lost the next game just barely, but even then, that was huge for me.
So, what has been the biggest difference that you have noticed from the high school level to now playing at Sacred Heart?
It's always the speed. I mean, when I came from high school, my coach said my coach now, Joseph Lane. He said, "I see a lot in you. I see that you have the basics. I see that you have the structure to be a good goalie here. And I'm going to give you that chance." And the first ever game that I started, the I again shut out the first period, but the second period was insanely quicker because the adrenaline wore off because I got comfortable. And I started to realize that these guys can get from mid ice to a dangerous shooting position in maybe 1.5 seconds, maybe even less. And, being able to read the play was challenging at the start of the year. And because of that, like stunning and like how much speed that was, I wasn't able to pull out with the win that game. And that really brought me a realization of I have to get better. I thought that I was good enough. I wasn't. So I needed to get better and I needed to work harder to get acclimated to that speed.
And coming to a program like Sacred Heart, I mean, obviously, it's at the D1 level, even on the club side. But what are some of those common misconceptions people might have on the club hockey level? Thinking that, I mean, when you look at the facilities that you guys have over at Sacred Heart and the ones that are being built, the commitment to the program and all of that stuff, what are some of the misconceptions people might have, and how do you combat that with what you guys are doing with the product on the ice?
I get a lot of questions when I'm walking around, and most of the time, if I tell them that I'm playing club hockey, they will say, "Oh, so you're not playing real hockey, or you're playing like glorified pickup." It's so much more than that. I have guys that aren't even like that know that they won't even make the roster this year that still come to our practices at 10:30 p.m. and stay until 12 a.m. to practice and get better. The commitment here and the level is so much higher than you could even think. Um, like if I put some of the guys that I know from my high school team into my league, they wouldn't be able to handle it because the people that we face, you got to remember there's still people that are 21 that are older than I am as a freshman, and there's people that have played elite AAA. There's people that have played um, elite juniors in the second or first tier of juniors that just didn't want to go D1 or didn't have the offers or the correct offers. Their offers got pulled. So there's Division 1 players in my conference that I play against that just came to do academics instead of sports, and they just chose to play club. The level is so much higher, and it's real hockey. If you came and watched us, you would know it is real hockey.
So, diving into that a little bit deeper, explain the training regimen that you guys do over at Sacred Heart. What does your week look like as a student athlete, and what does the travel look like on the game level?
So start with on ice practices. Right now, because we're in Martiri Family Arena, it's a highly coveted ice time. So they'll rent it out to high schools and all that. So we only get about 2 practices a week at 10:30 p.m. until 11:45, and so that's crazy to me, and it's just so it's so late, and then I have class the next day at like 9:30. So being a student athlete when you don't have the accommodations is a lot harder than people think, because especially as a freshman, I don't get first bid on the classes that I want. So last year I even had an 8 a.m. class right after my practice. And there were a couple of times where she got so mad at me that she just didn't even want me in that class because I couldn't wake up and I couldn't, I wasn't able to. But going to like off ice, we have 2 off ice optional practices a week where we go to our state of the art D1 weight training facility, and we train there with the D1 strength coach Rob with Shoe Sports Performance. We train with him. Right now, we're starting our next regimen for Wednesday, and then for game days, we have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday slots. So there's most weeks where I won't get a break any day of the week if we have a 3-game weekend. And those 3-game weekends can go from, an easy game on like a Saturday at like 2 p.m. and we get back at like 6 or 7, all the way to, recently we had a 3-game weekend where we didn't get back from a Friday night game until 2 a.m. And then the next day we had a 12 p.m. game. And then right after that 12 p.m. game, we had another game at like 7 on Sunday. So, it's great getting the games in, but it's also, it's harder than people think to wake up and get there and get yourself mentally ready for each game.
Which is, it's insane at that level, which kind of dives into, how we discovered each other and the content you're creating. So explain to us how what the content is that you've been creating and what is your goal from, the standpoint of what you're trying to portray.
So my first video, which for me, viral, I think it's sitting at about 50,000 or so views right now. And it gives a pretty good overview, but, to shorten it up, I want to play college hockey, or not college, pro hockey. I want to play pro hockey. And I like people at my level don't really get that chance, especially with, the beginnings and the way that I became a collegiate player. I didn't play AAA. I didn't play at these high levels. I just played high school hockey, Division II Connecticut high school hockey, which not a lot of people would say is, the best in America. But I create content that I hope speaks to the people that are also might be thinking, I don't have a future in this because I didn't go Division I, because I didn't get the best chance. I want to show them that there is a way to actually create that chance for yourself. I say a lot that it's not the team that makes the player, but it's the work ethic and the person that makes the player, because you need to be able to up your game and create a better existence for yourself and a better chance for yourself to really step up to the next level. So I like to make content that'll showcase how I train and what I do to get better, the equipment that I have, what I do in a day, what I eat, just ways that I can show people like I was in your same situation and this is what I'm doing to defy the odds.
No, I mean, it captivated me. It's captivated the audience, and it's been exciting to watch you, grow and create this and stuff. So, I mean, give us a run through of what the rest of this season and this year looks like, and what can we expect from you 2024 and beyond.
So right now, starting with this season, we're going into conference playoffs. We're I think right now we're second in our conference. So that's going to be definitely exciting to go ahead and go into and see what we can do and show people what we can do with our 20 freshman team out of, I think, 28 or so players, which is crazy in itself. But it's going to be nice to go there. It's close to home. It's in Shelton, which is maybe 15 minutes away from Sacred Heart, about 15 minutes away from where I live. So it's nice that it's close. We'll be able to, not have any fatigue, and it's really going to showcase what we can do to the people in our conference and what we can do as a team that's pretty new to the scene. We're only 3 years old. Going forward, I mean, even today, I'm waiting on the announcement to come out to see if we made nationals in Pennsylvania. So that's going to be a close call. Hopefully we do. Hopefully we do get that bid, and if we do, we will be one of the first shoe club teams to actually go to nationals, and actually one of the first shoe hockey teams to go to nationals, which would be very, very, very cool. 2024 and beyond, though, next season, I'm coming back with a vengeance, because at the start of the season, I was placed as the second string goalie. And then as time went on, I slowly lost that spot because I was trying to be so critical of myself. And, with the knowledge that I've learned through these last couple of weeks, through these last couple of months, I've really started to, come into my own and be able to really develop my play in a way that'll give me the best chance to come back next season and really show them that I could even take that top spot. I'm going to be able to, and you should be afraid. You should be afraid of me. No matter how much I'm buddy-buddy with you in the locker room, the second I hit that ice, I'm not your friend anymore. I'm there to take your spot, no matter what.
No, we love it. We love the mission. We love the story, and we'll be rooting along as always. So Gabe has some exciting merch on the site. If you want to check that out, house-enterprise.com, and swing over to his profile. But Gabe, where can people follow along on your content, and where can people, follow along with the hockey schedule and the results for the rest of the season?
So you can definitely go ahead, follow me on TikTok and Instagram, Gabe Deist goalie. Deist is spelled Deist. And you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I post the same thing on there, a little bit more on Instagram as well. I try to post pictures when I can. I'm just actually compiling something right now to post. But you can follow Shoe AAU Hockey on Instagram. We post a lot of our stuff there. If you follow AAU Hockey, just the conference, then you'll be able to actually see if we make nationals. And of course, if you go to the Shoe Club Sports website and go to our team, you'll be able to check out our schedule, check out our standings, our stats, anything like that. I'd love to share this stuff, and I really hope that you guys follow along with all of that.
Awesome, Gabe. Well, we appreciate the time. Thank you as always, and good luck the rest of the season, and we'll be following along as always.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.